From Delaware's most award-winning radio news team, this is WDEL Video News. Here's Chris Carl.
Among Delaware's top stories for Tuesday, June 19th, GM workers rally against pending legislation. Senator Carper is back from Iraq. And developers win millions over this unopened hotel. Here are the details. About 150 members of the Delaware Army National Guard are airborne for Iraq. The members of the 153rd Military Police Company took off yesterday, stopping at Fort Dix, then on to Iraq for a year-long deployment. The 153rd was activated in 2002, serving in Saudi Arabia during Operation Desert Spring. They spent time at the Arizona-Mexico border earlier this year under Operation Jumpstart. Among those being deployed are 12 workers within the Delaware Department of Correction. Saying thousands of jobs are at stake, General Motors workers and managers in Wilmington rallied yesterday against a U.S. Senate bill calling for better fuel efficiency. WDEL's Melanie Armstrong reports.
Wilmington Assembly Plant Manager Bob Dolan told the group of about 150 workers the bill would cost GM $40 billion.
If passed, not only would this legislation cripple the assembly plant, it would harm many of our local businesses that support our employees and devastating to this community. That is why it's important that we make people aware of this. GM and UAW are united in strong opposition to this dangerous legislation.
It affects your children, it affects your children's husbands, your grandchildren, your mom, your dad, and anybody that sits there. So we could potentially be looking at, just in this area alone, 25,000 people being impacted by this legislation.
Instead, United Auto Workers Union Local 435 and GM leadership support what they call a less extreme measure, the prior Bond-Levin amendment.
We have to have a level playing field. The imports coming in, they already have these standards, okay? And we have to ease into them. Just don't all of a sudden do it. And if it does, it's going to hurt our auto industry.
The Senate is set to take up the energy bill Tuesday. The lobbyist group Common Cause is asking Senators Carper and Biden not to support a compromise. The group says unless automakers start making more fuel-efficient vehicles, there won't be any industry left. Melanie Armstrong, 1150 AM, WDEL.
Senator Carper is back in Delaware after a trip to Iraq. An optimistic Carper says he visited several areas, including Anbar province, which was one of the most violent areas a year ago. Carper says some tough decisions have to be made over the next few months by those in charge in Iraq, including sharing oil revenue and power. An explosion at Del State. Details coming up as WDEL News continues in a moment.
As you look for your college experience, make sure you look at Wilmington College, your key to success.
A revenue forecast panel says state lawmakers who are crafting a budget for the next fiscal year over the next 2 weeks will have a little more money to play with. The Delaware Economic and Financial Advisory Council increased its revenue estimate for the fiscal year ending June 30th by about $10 million from its May forecast to $3.27 billion. Officials attributed the increase mostly to lower estimates for personal income tax refunds and a bump in estimated corporate franchise taxes. Firefighters and DENREC were on the scene early yesterday afternoon after a chemical release in a lab at Delaware State. A group of students in a Del State science lab had to be evacuated after something went wrong with a chemical experiment. There were 4 students in the lab at the time, part of a summer research project. 2 were treated for minor scrapes at Bay Health Medical. The building was reopened late in the afternoon. A Superior Court jury has awarded developers of an unopened hotel $7.5 million, saying Newcastle County treated them differently than other developers. At issue is what was supposed to be a Radisson Hotel on Airport Road. Attorneys for Wilmington Hospitality say the county was not willing to give them variances when the building came in at 1/3 larger than outlined in a plan approved in 1990, even though they worked with other developers whose projects came in larger. County officials say they will appeal the decision. A local basketball star has a change of heart. WDEL Sports and your Delaware AccuWeather forecast coming up.
You could spend your money at the gas pump, or you could spend it on those sexy pumps at your favorite store. Let Dart do the driving.
I do all my shopping with Dart. It's the most convenient way to shop the outlets, and it saves me money.
Now save even more. Get up to 40% off with a discounted Dart card online at dartfirststate.com or at your local Acme Market.
At this rate, with the money I save riding Dart, I have a new pair of shoes every week.
Travel smart. Choose Dart.
I'm Peter MacArthur.
I'm Melanie Armstrong, and here are Delaware's top stories at the top of the hour.
The most complete coverage of the news that matters in Delaware. Every weekday morning, 5:30 till 9 on 1150 AM WDEL.
In WDEL sports, the Cleveland Indians jumped on Cole Hamels for 5 runs through the first 2 innings in a 10-1 rout at Jacobs Field last night. The Phillies' only run came on Ryan Howard's 15th homer of the season. Game 2 of the series is tonight with Kyle Kendrick making his second Major League start for the Phillies against Jason Stanford. The action on WDEL starting at 6:30. Delaware State senior guard Roy Bright has withdrawn his name from the NBA draft. Bright tied with teammate Joshua Blunt as the Hornets' leading scorer and rebounder last season, helping Del State capture its 3rd straight MEAC regular season title. The Flyers have signed 2 players in a deal with the Nashville Predators for their first-round pick in the upcoming draft. Defenseman Kimmo Timonen and left wing Scott Hartnell have both agreed to 6-year contracts with the Flyers. Your WDEL Delaware AccuWeather forecast: sun and clouds, hot and humid today, a high of 90. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a couple of thunderstorms around, low 67. Tomorrow, some clouds, giving way to sunshine later on, with a high reaching 85. Get news updates throughout the day. Delaware's top stories at the top of the hour on 1150 AM, WDEL, or anytime right here at WDEL.com, including news video from Delaware and around the world from WDEL and the Associated Press. I'm Chris Carl. Thanks for watching.